2 at 5 and 10.
On World News Tonight this Saturday, the first family escapes Washington, but cannot escape the Monica Lewinsky story. The UN gets ready to vote on the Iraqi resolution, and Iraq gets nervous. And a giant in the shoe business brought down to size.
From ABC News, this is World News Tonight, Saturday.
Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Vargas. President Clinton is not getting much of a vacation. While his wife and daughter skied today in Utah, he was headed to California to raise money. And he's not getting a vacation from the Monica Lewinsky story either. And back in Washington, his aides keep spinning. ABC's Ann Compton has today's developments.
Blending in with thousands of others on the mountain, Hillary Clinton spent a morning on skis enjoying the fresh snow, and so did her daughter Chelsea, who reportedly told her parents she would rather spend her birthday weekend here than on the campus of Stanford University. But President Clinton's seclusion in the elegant mountaintop home where he's been staying with his family lasted less than 36 hours. He headed off to a long-scheduled political fundraiser in California. Today, more stories emerged from Washington that supporters of the president are testing out new explanations of his still unexplained relationship with Monica Lewinsky. Some reports suggesting a scenario in which the president was simply physically affectionate with Lewinsky. While the president remained out of sight here on the mountain, White House officials vigorously denied that the president himself is planning any new explanation or statement in his own defense. They say the president has said all he's going to say. And in the case that started it all, there may be a conflict emerging between Paula Jones and her benefactors. In a mass mailing fundraising letter, Jones begs for contributions, saying her lawyers, quote, need at least $250,000 to keep my case going. The fundraising letter came from Bruce Eberly, who has passed on as much as $100,000 to Jones. But the Rutherford Institute, which is paying all the legal bills, says it has seen none of the money.
And, I think we've lost quite a bit of money over this because if you have a single effort, it's obvious you're going to get the money and it's not going to be going somewhere else.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. President Clinton seems to be ignoring all of it and intends to be back with his family on vacation in Utah by midnight. Ann Compton, ABC News, with the president in Utah.
Monica Lewinsky and Paula Jones are also big topics in Mississippi this weekend, where Republican activists from 13 southern states are holding a convention. Most of the party's heavyweights are there, and so is ABC's Valerie Williams.
Just about anyone who's ever hinted at running for president on the GOP ticket made an appearance this weekend in Biloxi. Former Vice President Dan Quayle came away king of the scandal-inspired one-liners.
And here's the centerpiece of our anti-crime plan. 3 interns and you're out.
For weeks, as the Lewinsky scandal has exploded, Republican leaders have remained uncharacteristically quiet. But this weekend, with the pressure on to impress the party faithful, the talk finally got tough.
He has not just turned us into a joke, he has turned us into a dirty joke.
Thank you, buddy.
Senator Fred Thompson, a former Watergate investigator, is one who has said that going after Clinton on the Lewinsky matter could only backfire for the party. But today, even he suggested there are limits to a Republican silence.
But when a president makes a phony claim of executive privilege, he diminishes the presidency, he diminishes the executive privilege claim.
Although there was a noticeable shift this weekend in the Republican approach to the scandal, it is still too early to tell if this signals a significant change in rhetoric. As long as the president remains so popular, many Republicans believe it is still safer to criticize him on other policy issues. Valerie Williams, ABC News, Biloxi.
Turning now to Iraq, the UN Security Council votes as early as Monday on a resolution that would trigger an automatic military response if Iraq reneges on the deal worked out by UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. As ABC's Morton Dean reports, Iraq is not happy about it.
Just the idea of the UN resolution is making Iraqi officials edgy.
We feel totally unnecessary to have any Security Council resolution.
The government says the agreement signed with the Secretary General stands on its own.
It has the power of law. It doesn't need any endorsement.
In an attempt to prove another point, the oil minister today permitted foreign journalists to visit a dilapidated oil refinery. He complained that economic sanctions crippled Iraq's ability to substantially increase its oil output in exchange for food and medicine, as permitted by the UN. The workers here say this refinery is now operating at 1/2 capacity. The reason? The lack of spare parts. Spare parts, Iraq says, that would become available if only the U.S. and Britain eased their rigid adherence to the sanctions. Morton Dean, ABC News, Baghdad.
And in New York City today, hundreds of protesters massed in Times Square. They are demanding an end to the sanctions against Iraq and calling for U.S. troops and warships to leave the Middle East. The UN resolution on Iraq is the topic tomorrow on This Week with Sam Donaldson and Cokie Roberts. Chief UN Weapons Inspector Richard Butler is the guest. Still ahead on World News Tonight this Saturday, the FBI gets ready to crack down on high-tech crime. El Nino's severe damage to California's crops. And former New York Mayor Ed Koch takes a look at the plan to make New York City a nicer place.
This is World News Tonight, Saturday. Brought to you by Advil.
12-hour days, endless nights, no weekends to call their own. This is the stuff young lions are made of. And no headache will limit their imagination. Because this is the Advil generation. The advanced medicine of Advil is freedom from headaches, just like that. Headaches to muscle aches. Advil relieves all kinds of pain. Advil simply lets people do what they love to do.
How much younger do you want to look? You decide when you get rid of gray gradually with Grecian Formula 16. Day by day, Grecian brings back natural-looking color. Lose some gray, or all of it. Grecian in a new hair-thickening formula.
Sweet honey, crunchy nuts on classic Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Nothing pulls a family together like Kellogg's Honey Crunch Corn Flakes.
Oh, sorry, did I wake you?
Kellogg's Honey Crunch Corn Flakes, an altogether great breakfast.
Fibercon or Metamucil? Both have fiber for regularity. But I like Fibercon better.
Same natural action of fiber, but only Fibercon contains calcium.
And with Fibercon, I get my fiber in 2 caplets.
Fibercon, fiber and calcium in a convenient caplet.
Pan Am Airlines is saying thanks, but no thanks for now to a $15 million bailout offer from a New York investment group. Pan Am was grounded after filing for bankruptcy this week. The airline still hopes to line up financing to get the airline flying again. One of the nation's biggest sporting goods corporations ended its third quarter today on a not-so-high note. Nike showed disappointing earnings and could have zero growth next year. ABC's Mike Von Fremd reports now on Nike's changing fortunes.
Nikes are the most popular shoes since man has been standing on 2 feet.
I got the shoes, I got this outfit I have on.
But in the last 12 months, the company's stock price has plummeted. The troubled Asian market has caused retailers to cancel orders. In the U.S., sneakers are sitting on the shelf, and the company may lay off 2,000 workers. What happened? Well, kids seem more reluctant to pay $150 for a pair of Air Jordans. And there's a footwear rebellion on the streets.
Boots, low-cut boots.
Sneakers are out, brown boots are in.
I think these look nicer than sneakers.
Beyond the shift to perhaps casual and brown shoes is the fact that Nike has saturated so many markets and the swoosh is no longer cool.
But Wall Street says the shoemaker has a history of doing some fancy footwork to get back on top. Nike's new must-have sneakers are designed to look like a 51 Mercury.
I mean, you can see just the lines off of this car really were played out into the shoe itself.
$125 for a pair of shoes that look like a set of wheels. A marketing gamble, but if it sells, Nike's back in the driver's seat. Mike Von Fremd, ABC News, Washington.
The FBI is cracking down on computer crime. Attorney General Janet Reno late yesterday announced the creation of a new high-tech crime center. And just this week, the FBI seized equipment from the homes of 2 California teens, part of an investigation into attacks on the Pentagon computer system. ABC's Bill Rediker reports on a growing problem.
Computer sabotage costs American companies $10 billion a year. And contrary to popular belief, most of it is committed by company employees.
One of the major threats comes from the inside, from internal hackers. And they are probably about 80% of the problem.
Only 10 days ago, Timothy Lloyd was charged with setting off a computer data bomb that wiped out $10 million worth of production software at Omega Engineering. His attorney denies the charge and says anyone could have done it.
There was no password protection on this system. So apparently any employee could sit down without a password protection, get on the system and hack away.
Computer hackers who can easily download sabotage software from the internet can also endanger society at large. Power companies, transportation systems, and water supplies are all tied to computers.
The threat to the nation's computer-dependent infrastructure is considered so serious that the FBI here in Washington has just expanded its computer crime unit and for the first time entered a unique partnership with the private sector,
warning them about certain viruses and technological threats by sharing data.
I think companies have to be more willing to deal with government to share information about intrusions so that we can see what tools and techniques hackers are using.
FBI officials acknowledge there are serious privacy concerns, but say they are required to show probable cause before they investigate. How many companies agree to cooperate will be critical in determining whether the FBI succeeds in its cyber crackdown. Bill Rediker, ABC News, Washington.
When we come back, Angola, the rebirth of an African nation.
At Ragu, we've always figured the trick to making a delicious pasta sauce is to start with tomato, add some spices, and then a touch of Parmesan. But then we said, why not start with a cheese? Introducing new Ragu roasted garlic Parmesan sauce. We took real Parmesan cheese and kissed it with a touch of roasted garlic. And the tomato? Just toss it in the salad. New Ragu roasted garlic Parmesan sauce. It's the best thing to happen to pasta since the tomato.
An important message from James Lee Witt, Director, Federal Emergency Management Agency.
When heavy rains saturate the ground, anyone can suffer a flood. Only flood insurance covers you for flood damage. Fortunately, it's available from FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program. It takes 30 days before policies go into effect, so it's important to buy flood insurance now. Do something for yourself and your family before it's too late. Please call the toll-free number on your screen or your insurance agent today.
You see coffee. At Sprint, we see data. Data from the field that works to project the future and allows access to information that helps people work together to achieve results on a global scale. A rich, robust blend of data that business relies on every day. Because business runs on data, and data runs on Sprint.
The magazines tell you to be a size 4. They tell you to be 10 years younger. They tell you to look like her. Don't listen to the magazines. Women's Ultra Mega Multiple Vitamins from General Nutrition Centers contain calcium, folic acid, and other vitamins, minerals, and herbs that love your body the way it is. Those magazines have no idea what they're talking about. Women's Ultra Mega Multiple Vitamins, exclusively in the women's section at GNC. Live well.
Sunday on This Week with Sam Donaldson and Cokie Roberts.
Will the deal with Saddam work, plus the war between the White House and Ken Starr? ABC Sunday.
Princess Diana's will becomes public this week. British newspapers say the Spencer family has made some changes. For example, Diana's butler will reportedly get $82,000 for his service. The bulk of Diana's $34 million fortune is reportedly split between her 2 sons. Trevor Rees-Jones, meantime, the sole survivor of the crash that killed Diana and her friend Dodi Al-Fayed, has given his first interview. to the British tabloid The Mirror. It appears Monday. The Mirror says Rhys Jones now remembers most of what happened the night of the crash. India wraps up a bloody election season today. The surprise star of this election is a woman who wasn't born in India and isn't even running for office. ABC's Jim Wooten reports.
More violence on the last day of voting as India's bloodiest elections ever finally came to an end. At least 150 people have died in the past 2 weeks as 600 million cast their ballots. Illiterates registered with thumbprints. It was a fierce campaign focused not on issues but on a non-candidate. In scores of public appearances, Sonia Gandhi, widow of one prime minister, daughter-in-law of another, both assassinated, has given new hope to the old Congress party.
It was very surprising that one would see that Congress rallies attended by a good number of people, fairly good number of people.
Her party may capture 150 seats, far more than expected when Mrs. Gandhi began her campaign against Hindu nationalists who want religion, their religion, to be a force in government. Hindu nationalists are still projected to win about 250 seats, enough perhaps to form a coalition government. Minority Muslims, like this Bombay businessman, worry that those of his faith may suffer if Hindu nationalists do take power, though they've promised otherwise.
If that policy, what they promise in election exists, then there won't be any problem. But if they change their policy, then there will be a problem.
While results were expected on Tuesday, millions of Hindus were more focused this weekend on Kumbh Mela, an ancient ritual of cleansing in the Ganges observed only once every 10 years, an indication perhaps of what is still important in modern India. Jim Wooten, ABC News.
Today was the deadline to complete a proposed peace agreement in Angola, a country devastated by the longest civil war in Africa. But there will be no celebrating today because there is no peace. ABC's Carol Simpson is on special assignment in Angola.
The civil war in Angola has left the country's economy and social infrastructure in shambles. Luanda, the capital city, is bursting at the seams. 1.5 million displaced people are living in some of the most squalid conditions on earth.
Angola, in terms of natural resources, is the richest country probably in Africa, and if not but certainly one of the most rich countries in the whole world. And yet it has the poorest people in the world.
What a paradox. Angola has billions of gallons of oil reserves offshore, which American companies are vying to explore. In fact, American officials predict that Angola will become the major source of U.S. oil imports within the next decade. Angola's mountains could yield billions of dollars from still unmined diamonds. Its soil is fertile for almost any crop. But war and the use of landmines by still warring factions have devastated the landscape and the people. These children, orphaned by the war, have seen many in their village wounded or killed by landmines. That's why the United Nations is working on not only removing mines, but putting to work demobilized soldiers. Many are being encouraged to farm. They are receiving seeds, cattle, plows, and know-how so they can produce crops. Other former rebels are getting vocational training. Like many ex-soldiers, 22-year-old Domingos Paulo began fighting when he was a teenager. He says now he only wants peace.
Tragically, despite all efforts to end the problem, authorities say new landmines are being laid in various parts of the country every single night.
That has created a great deal of mistrust among the people here. The peace agreement signed in 1994 is shaky, and many Angolans fear the unthinkable, the resumption of civil war. Carol Simpson, ABC News, Luanda, Angola.
Coming up, El Niño's devastating legacy for California farmers.
I I'm 67 years old and I may bend, but I never break.
When some people hit 50, stiffness makes it harder to do the things they love.
I'm 68 years old and I live by one motto: always stay flexible.
TwinLab Joint Fuel nutritionally supports healthy joint and bone function and helps keep you strong so you can do the things you love.
I'm 75, and I've always said if somebody does something nice for me, I'll do backflips for them.
TwinLab Joint Fuel at GNC and other health food stores.
So you just stop by your neighbor's to borrow some ice when something catches her eye. It's the Prize Patrol, and they're next door at your house. So you look at her, and she looks at you, and you both scream! And you both start running, but time seems to stop when she yells, "It's you!" And you yell, "It's me!" And woo, they've got flowers and balloons and a big check. And they say, "You just won the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes." And you collapse into the Prize Patrol guy's arms, and he's much thinner than he looks on TV, so this must be real.
Enter today, and it could happen to you.
I lead a hectic life. Sometimes I get irregular, so I take something I can trust. Correctol. Now even more women trust Correctol to work gently overnight. Like clockwork.
You paid your dues, now break away. You're in control now, get out and play. Go for it all now, having a ball now. You're making moves.
You've got it handled. The quick and nimble DeVille with the North Star system.
Your head's so tight, 'cause now you're willing to make
DeVille, for the time of your life.
Is it the party of the first part did not intend, or the party of the second?
I should have used Preparation H.
If you had, you wouldn't be suffering now. Preparation H helps stop itch and further irritation with a soothing layer of protection.
I should have used Preparation H.
Stops itch, stops irritation.
In Los Angeles tonight, President Clinton gets a briefing on how California is coping with El Nino. This week, the National Weather Service announced that 1997-98 will go down as the worst El Nino year of the century, and it's far from over. So we will be tracking El Nino through the spring. For at least the next 7 days, California will get a bit of a rest, little rain and no storms, but forecasters say the storms will be back. And in Los Angeles, they're still suffering from the last series of storms. The rains caused sewage treatment plants to overflow, so the ocean is polluted and beaches are closed. And it's not just beachgoers. The entire nation will soon be feeling the effects of El Nino at the grocery store. ABC's Lisa Salters reports.
The sun is finally shining in California, but for farmers across the state, the damage has already been done.
Yeah, here's a lot of damaged ones here. Rot, misshape. That's all rain damage right there on the skin.
Farmers like Scott Deerdorf have watched helplessly as El Nino washed away their fields of celery, broccoli, and strawberries. And now the grounds are too saturated to replant.
It's just soup, so you can't even plant anything in soupy mud.
Bill Morris has already lost 1/4 of his orange groves, all of his watercress and mint.
As you watch this wave of mud traveling down, you just saw it just eat it up all the way through. You knew it was over.
The recent bad weather has already caused $75 million worth of crop damage here in California. For now, produce prices should remain stable, but experts warn that won't last long.
Ultimately, we won't have the quantity and quality that we'd all like to have, and that could mean some higher prices, not only here in California, but across the country.
The rain has also taken its toll on farm animals, especially dairy cows. Swampy fields have made it difficult for the animals to lie down or find food. Unable to trudge through the mud, 3,000 cows have died of exhaustion. El Nino-related storms are expected to continue through the spring. More time for farmers to worry about their animals, their crops, and their livelihoods. Lisa Salters, ABC News, Los Angeles.
When we come back, the campaign to make New York City a nicer place.
Men, is gray hair sneaking up on you right under your nose?
It is sneaking up on me. Here, too.
You need Just for Men gel. Brush in and in 5 minutes, rinse.
It's the sure thing for a natural look.
Just for Men gel.
Greetings. I'm speaking to you from 30 years in the future. No, really, look.
I just thought you'd like to know how a few things have worked out.
Time to feed dog.
Specifically, the Fidelity Roth IRA. Now, somebody back then was really thinking. Tax-free earnings and distributions. Heck, I make withdrawals every month, and I'm not paying a dime in federal taxes.
Dog. Time to feed dog.
So open a Fidelity Roth IRA today.
1 Minute Maalox.
In hospitals, speed counts. Fast-acting medicines, doctors rely on them. So when patients get heartburn, they get 1 Minute Maalox, not Pepcid AC. Clinical studies prove Maalox starts to work on stomach acid in about 1 minute, while Pepcid AC could take over 45 minutes. Here, that's an eternity. 1 Minute Maalox. Hospitals turn to it first. Shouldn't you?
For heartburn and acid indigestion, do what hospitals do. Count on 1 Minute Maalox.
What causes denture odor? Get close and you'll see. Germs. Eprident Plus with Fresh Burst Listerine ingredients. It kills odor-causing germs. So you can get this close. Minty Eprident Plus. Kill the germs, kill the odor.
View's the talk show everybody's talking about. Monday, The Glamorous View from legendary designer Oscar de la Renta. Later in the week, glamorous newlywed Sharon Stone, superstar Anne Margaret, and Oscar winner Vanessa Redgrave. It's the talk show you'll want to talk about. The View, ABC Daytime, this week.
Finally tonight, New York City is still buzzing from this week's announcement by Mayor Giuliani that he wants New Yorkers to be nicer. He wants less noise, fewer jaywalkers, even a school dress code for students and teachers. So we went to a man who for many personifies New York, former Mayor Ed Koch. He asked Big Apple residents their point of view.
Do you think that the mayor is onto something when he asks people to be more civil? What do you think?
I think he is onto something.
And do you think the mayor is civil?
That's an interesting question. Less so than he wants us to be, I would think.
Are the English more civil than Americans, you think?
I think they have the edge on New Yorkers.
Even if they weren't, they sound like they are because of the accent, right?
To me, Canada, pretty civil. Most people, yes.
That's my impression. I think New Yorkers get a bad rap and the rest of the country thinks that we're rude.
We're very reasonable.
Do you think that the mayor can get people to be more civil?
I think he's doing as much as he can, but it's going to take a lot of time before people get used to living that way.
We've had deaths every year and injuries to an even larger extent as a result of traffic accidents, and you want to reduce them. So I believe the mayor is quite correct to try to get people not to jaywalk. The mayor says that we should have classes to teach civics. You know what civics is? Good government, being polite, being aware of the fact that you have to be courteous to your neighbor. The teachers have to wear a suit and a dress?
No. My teacher wears overalls. And
good teacher wears overalls?
She wears overalls. My teacher doesn't wear pants.
Right. Is he a good teacher? She?
She's a good teacher, yeah. I mean, she teaches, I think she's my best teacher.
And just as in the parochial schools and many private schools, they find that having uniforms creates an esprit de corps and a discipline, I think we should do that in our public schools as well. There's nothing too small for a mayor to worry about. On the other hand, a mayor must have larger objectives as well.
That's our report for tonight. Later on ABC News Saturday night, a film crew on Mount Everest finds themselves at the center of an international tragedy. I'm Elizabeth Vargas. Good night.
During Pocahontas, it's your one chance to see never-before-seen footage and hear a new song from the upcoming sequel. Pocahontas, ABC Sunday at 7, 6 Central.
We're so glad